There is so much to catch up on with this Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp situation. Like, as soon as something happens, there's a video out, but I'm over here like a week later. Now I'm just now talking about it. But I wanted to talk about some of the new stuff that has come out. We have something new that just popped up recently where there is surveillance footage from Johnny Depp's penthouse elevators of Amber Heard kissing what appears to be Cara Delevingne. Am I saying her last name right? I'm not really sure. And also the edited clip from the Dateline interview where they edited something out that Amber said. But before I talk about those things, I want to talk about the juror that came out and spoke that was on the jury for the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trial, because I think that they said some things that were very interesting. At the end of last week, a juror who wanted to remain anonymous spoke to Good Morning America, and they shared their opinions and what the rest of the jury was thinking during the trial, which is some of the behind the scenes stuff that I've really wanted to know, because the entire time that the trial was happening, all I wanted to know was, what is the jury thinking? Like, are they seeing what we're seeing? Because they're not supposed to be looking up anything. Even if you weren't looking at social media, it would be hard to believe Amber anyways because of how she told her testimony. And they were thinking the same thing that all of us were thinking. They called Amber Heard's crying crocodile tears. When this trial was going on, there were photos that I had seen that photographers took while they were in there. It was being alleged that tears were being edited on these photos and being posted by random news articles. You could tell which posts Amber's PR team was behind because it was so pro Amber when none of us are pro Amber, or most of us aren't. Some of these posts were using these photos where there were these tears on Amber Heard's face, but when you would look at her when she was telling her testimony, it was really hard to see any tears. Like, it wasn't the best quality live streams, but I feel like we probably would have seen some wetness on her face. But I remember seeing that there was a website where one of the photographers had posted the supposed originals of these photos, and some of the originals or alleged originals did have tears on her face. So for the jury to say that she had crocodile tears leads me to believe that maybe those photos were actually edited, even the supposed originals, because of the fact that they were sitting right there and they didn't believe that she was genuinely crying either. The juror said that it didn't come across as believable and that it seemed like she was able to flip the switch on her emotions. She would answer one question and she would be crying, but then 2 seconds later she would turn ice cold. It didn't seem natural. That was something that all of us were seeing too, like how quickly she would go from telling the story of horrific abuse, bawling her eyes out, and then seconds later, stone cold, no emotion. And even when she wasn't up there telling her testimony, when she was sitting in her little section that she sat in with her lawyers, she'd be sitting over there. You would see her laugh with her lawyers and then realize, oh shit, like this is being live streamed. I need to be serious and put my serious face back on. She did a lot of that. It seemed like it was really hard for her to keep up with the emotions she was actually having versus the ones that she felt like she had to fake. This juror said that Johnny Depp seemed more real and how he would answer questions, which I completely agree with that too, because I mean, there would be times where, you know, Johnny would totally forget what he was talking about. It does seem more natural because sometimes you do just forget what you're talking about. But if you come off like you are rehearsing everything in front of your bathroom mirror and it doesn't seem like what you're saying is genuine, you can definitely see the difference in those two testimonies. The juror said that Amber's credibility was in question the entire trial. And despite how she acted, there were lots of other factors that led to the jury not thinking that she was credible and not believing her story. This juror said that he believed that they were both abusive to each other. I've seen some people say that that statement could be something that gets them a retrial, because Amber's team was saying that if you guys find Johnny abusive on any count, even if he was verbally abusive, then you have to basically go with Amber. And because they said that they found them both abusive to each other but chose to let Johnny Depp win anyways, that they could probably potentially get a retrial because of that. I am not on the legal side of things, so I have no idea. I know there's a bunch of lawyers and stuff that do videos on YouTube. Emily D. Baker's a really good one that you guys comment comment about all the time that probably has more behind the scenes insight from the lawyer's perspective on that I don't have. I'm just a regular person reacting to this, but that is something that I have seen that maybe they could potentially try and get a retrial just by that statement. Hopefully that's not true. But basically the juror said that even though they believe they were both abusive to each other, that Amber's team failed to prove that Johnny Depp was abusive. That they also believed that Amber got really bad advice from her attorneys. They were incredibly creeped out by the fact that every time she would answer one of the questions, she would look at the jury every time. I found that to be extremely annoying. Like eventually I just got used to it because she did it every time, but she'd be watching the question and then turn to the jury, and it was just a really bizarre thing to do. I don't know if she was told by her legal team to do that or if she just decided to do that. They were weirded out by it, and I would be too. Like if I was sitting there and I wasn't the one asking the question and she kept turning around and looking at me every time she'd answer, I'd be like, I don't know where to look. But this juror said that they had their husband-wife arguments. They were both yelling at each other. I don't think that makes either of them right or wrong. That's what you do when you get into an argument, I guess. But to rise to the level of what she was claiming, there wasn't enough or any evidence that really supported what she was saying, which is incredibly true. We all had trouble believing what she was saying because not only the way that she said it, but also because she would describe horrific abuse from a man that has rings all over his fingers and then show a picture where it was like, it doesn't line up with what you're saying happened. If she had given a less violent description of something and then showed those pictures, it would have been more believable, but her descriptions of it were horrible. And she would be telling stuff for 10-15 minutes and then show this tiny little bruise, and the jury was definitely noticing that stuff. They also found it strange, when Johnny's team kept showing and mentioning the knife that Amber had bought him that said "till death do us part." I don't remember in what language, but it said that on it, and they found that very strange as well. Like, why would you give this man that you keep saying you were scared for your life, you were scared he was going to kill you, why would you give him a knife? You're on the stand saying you were terrified of him. There's this one clip of Amber where she totally fakes this reaction of being like scared when she sees Johnny Depp because they almost bump into each other. She acts terrified, but the whole time she was staring him down during the trial. Does these moments where she like fakes things like that, but then when you see stuff like, here's this knife that she bought him, with her up there crying, saying she was scared he was gonna kill her on numerous occasions, it doesn't line up. It's not something that I feel like people, like if I was scared for my life that someone was going to kill me, the last thing I would give them for a gift would be a knife. They also questioned why she kept doing drugs around Johnny Depp if she was so concerned with him not being sober. I'm on that same side of, if you are in a relationship with somebody and they're struggling with their sobriety and you want to help them, don't do drugs in front of them or drink in front of them. Like if you have somebody who's an alcoholic and you don't want them drinking and they shouldn't be drinking, if you're gonna have a drink with friends and sober up before you get back around that person. Like, it's just common sense to be supportive of the person that you're with and to not do those things around them. So for her to act like she really didn't want him to do these things, but then the big barrel of wine that they had put into his house or whatever, things like that, it didn't make sense, and that was another thing that the jury had noticed. Another thing that he had mentioned was the photos that Amber had taken of Johnny Depp where he was like passed out, that Johnny was mostly on downers that would have him passed out, which lined up with these photos. Amber would be alleging these horrible violent outbursts that he would have when he was supposedly on these things, and they noticed that that didn't really line up either. He said that they completely fell flat with what she was trying to allege that Johnny Depp did. Now, there were these pictures of Amber Heard that were clearly edited. There were two that were identical. One was edited and one was not, and Amber actually said they were two completely different photos. They literally were not. But the jury believed Johnny Depp's team when they said that she had edited the photo to redden the mark on her face, which she clearly did. And then he brought up that her team made a mistake by saying she never goes out in public without makeup on, but then also her going out in public without makeup on with this alleged bruise on her face when she went to file the restraining order. And then not only that, there were other photos of her as well right after that where she had no makeup on as well. Like, I've seen lots of pictures of Amber without makeup on. So that was another thing, was that they were like, would you go out in public without makeup on if you were an actress and people were gonna be taking your picture? I mean, I personally wouldn't, but Amber did, and she did it a lot. So for them to then turn around and be like, she never did that, it made no sense because there were so many pictures of her with no makeup on. They also said that it was disingenuous that she was trying to use pledge and donation as the same whenever she was trying to defend herself against why she did not donate the money she got caught saying she donated. He referred to it as a fiasco. All of the things that were the most important in this trial, the jury was seeing everything that we were seeing, and that's why they chose the verdict that they did. They also discounted any witnesses that were paid employees or friends or family. They just totally disregarded that stuff and paid attention to very specific things to come to their verdict, which I think was really good. And he also said that the speculation from, or accusations really, from Amber and her team that they looked at social media, he said that there were some people on the jury that didn't even have Twitter. They came to their conclusion by following the evidence and that they did not look at anything on social media. I believe it was the day after Amber Heard had done her NBC Today Show interview where she mirrored what her lawyer Elaine had previously said the week before about how could the jury not have seen social media, just really trying to push this idea out there that they cheated. This juror came out, I believe it was the day after that was said, basically saying, we didn't look at social media. I think some of the jury probably would have came out and spoken, but I don't know if they would have right after she did that interview, had they not continued to try and claim that they cheated and they felt like they needed to speak up and say that we did not cheat. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know if that's why they came out when they did, but I found the timing of that to be a little bit interesting. It seemed as though they wanted to really show, like, we looked at the evidence here, here's what we looked at, here's how we came to the verdict that we did not cheat. I really hope more of the jury comes out and speaks out about their opinion and what they were thinking during this entire trial, because it's just fascinating to hear from people's mouths that were like in the room with them. Maybe they saw some things we didn't see. Like I said, I was curious from the very beginning, like, what were they thinking? Because I know what I was thinking, but what were they thinking as people who weren't looking at the internet and who weren't really fans of either one of them? What was their opinion? And so it's really cool to see a little bit of bless me. Bless me, hallelujah. Now, there has been some other stuff that has come out that I wanted to touch on really quickly. We have pictures of Amber Heard shopping in TJ Maxx. Then we have surveillance footage of Amber Heard making out with some girl in Johnny Depp's penthouse elevator. First, let me talk about the TJ Maxx photos. I've seen people say that they think that these pictures were staged because she's trying to show that she has to shop at TJ Maxx now that Johnny Depp sued her for millions of dollars that she doesn't have. I don't know if that's true or not, or if maybe there were pictures taken of her and they tried to spin it that way just because you know how the internet is. I really don't know, but with everything else that's happened and with the fact that she clearly has sent things allegedly to TMZ, video of Johnny Depp slamming the cabinets, hey, show up at the courthouse at this time and the alleged bruise will be on this side of my face, you know, supposedly tipping off TMZ. All that's obviously alleged, I don't want to get in trouble. But the fact that TMZ posted this picture and was basically like, she's shopping at TJ Maxx now because she's being sued by Johnny Depp and doesn't have money. I found that to be really funny. I'm not saying that it was staged, but it did kind of seem that way. But let me know what you guys think about that down below. I know that most of the internet believes that she wasn't actually shopping there. She was showing up there to make it look like she was shopping there to garner some sympathy. But then there's also, supposedly she had this really expensive Airbnb when she was in Virginia for the trial, and a $30,000, I believe it was, private jet that she was on. But if you guys didn't watch my last video about her doing this interview, she totally got got paid to do this interview. Because imagine like how many people would have wanted to get the interview that the Today Show got, because they know that it's going to boost their ratings and a lot of people are going to watch it. So you know they were paying really good to get an interview of Amber. I'm sure there were lots of people that were paying her, and she probably took the best check, which most likely was the Today Show. This video of Amber Heard in the elevator, it looks like she's kissing Cara Delevingne. All right, that's exactly who it looks like. I don't know if it's been confirmed for sure that it was her or not, but I know there were rumors that her and Elon Musk had a threesome with Cara. I don't know if that's true, but I find it interesting that Amber knew there were cameras in Johnny Depp's penthouse elevator, but she had 3 people in there. Elon Musk, James Franco, and now this mystery woman, Cara Delevingne, all in the elevator to go to penthouse that was owned by her husband. Like, she knew he was gonna see that footage. I don't believe for 1 second she didn't. And it just makes her look even worse to me, because not only was she bringing people up into what he was paying for, this was his, he owned it. She did it knowing there were cameras. Does that come off like somebody that is like so afraid of this man that he's gonna kill you? Why would you be making out with people and leaning up against men and stuff in his elevator? Why would you be doing that if you were so scared that he was gonna kill you? That would be the last thing on your mind, would be to bring somebody up into his penthouse. Not only was she cheating on Johnny Depp with 3 people, that is confirmed, that we've seen in these elevator videos, but she was doing it basically in plain sight. Like, he's gonna see that. Why would you kiss right in that camera? Like, isn't there so many other places that you could have been kissing? Wouldn't you be trying to make it look like we're just friends and hanging out, nothing suspicious going on? Why would you do it in plain sight? But anyways, I think it's disgusting to be bringing people up into the place that he's paying for, but then to do it and it to clearly be so that he could see it makes it even more disgusting. And I'm really curious what you guys think about that below. I feel like every time something new comes out, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and I dislike her more and more and more and more. I didn't think that I could dislike her more than I do right now. You know what? Maybe there will be something else in the news tomorrow. The last thing that I want to touch on is that during the Dateline interview, which I was going to react to it, but I think it was essentially the same interview. So it's been basically the same stuff. So what I did hear is that they played a clip where Amber Heard said something that was describing herself as not being a victim, but then when they put out the Dateline interview, they edited that out. Now, when I had originally heard that, I didn't really think that much about it. I thought maybe she didn't mean it the way that it sounded, you know, giving Amber the benefit of the doubt, like, but when they edited it out of the Dateline interview, it made it look even worse for her. Who wanted it edited out? Did the people that are in charge of the Dateline interview or whatever want it edited out because they wanted it to be more pro Amber? Or did Amber's team have it get edited out, or request it be edited out, or demand it be edited out because they knew how bad it would be for her if people heard that, which too late, people heard it anyways. I don't think it would have been as suspicious to me if they just left it in, but them taking it out made it look even worse. Like they were just trying to cover up a mistake in something that she said. Like I said from the very beginning, my personal opinion, which I think anybody should be able to come out and speak if they want to, she probably should have taken some time away from the cameras, not done any interviews, and maybe thought more clearly about what she was gonna say whenever she did do an interview, because maybe this one wouldn't have been so bad. But I feel like her doing the interview that she did was even worse than if she just didn't do it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below, and I will be seeing you guys soon for another video. I still have to do one about the Josh Duggar sentencing, and there has been some things that have come out with his family and stuff that is said that I have been wanting to talk about and haven't had the time or the chance to, so I'm gonna try and get that up as soon as possible. But thank you guys so much for being patient with me. If you want to see more videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. That way you get notified every single time I upload, and I will be seeing you guys soon for another video.